So where's the best place to put your microphone? Let's have a look. If you're in a noisy environment, the best way to get rid of the noise around you and also the room reflections and reverberation that goes on here is to get the microphone as close as possible. The only thing is, if you get the microphone just too close to you, you're going to start getting more proximity effect. So you need to judge that with whatever microphone you're using. But basically getting it closer is going to eliminate, hopefully, most of what's going on. Now, the house at the moment is not quiet, and I'm speaking on a super cardioid microphone. This is a dynamic microphone, and it should be rejecting fairly well, but I've got quite a bit of noise coming from up the stairs here where my wife is teaching a kid on the internet, and the noise is quite loud. So hopefully this is rejecting most of what's going on and coming down the stairs from the piano and her voice. And used this way, you will eliminate, hopefully, most of the sounds around you. And by the way, this is the first time I've used this lens. This is the Sigma 1.4, and I've been loving it. And I thought this time I'm really going to try it out for real and put a YouTube video out using it. So that's the sound of a microphone really close up, and hopefully you're not getting too much from my back wall because my head and my body is shielding the back wall. The side walls are quite a long way away, so that's not too much of a problem. The rear window, there's a massive window in front of me here. That's being rejected by the rear end of this because it's pointing down at the carpet. So everything hopefully is really suppressed, and you get the cleanest sound, hopefully, possible in this room, which isn't good. Another nice placement for the mic in my room anyway is to put it below my body out of shot. Very often in videos you don't want the microphone to show in shot, so you want to get it, most people would boom it. Now in my room, because I have a wall behind me, I use my body as a shield, and this is basically almost the same as a handheld position, but you have to then raise the gain. This is a dynamic microphone, it's a super cardioid, and it's actually out of shot. So it's quite a bit further away. So therefore the gain has to be raised, and if you've got noise and reverberation in the room, it's very likely that the microphone might now start to pick up a little bit more of that's going on. But this is the sound of a super cardioid mic with a piano actually going on in the background as well. Don't know if you can hear that at all underneath my voice. But it's further away, and that's what you would expect. For this shot, I'm into jazz hands because I've now got a dynamic microphone boomed above my head. This is something that many people would say don't do because dynamics aren't sensitive enough to be able to do that. But if you've got some good preamping going on in there, you can raise the gain enough to pick yourself up perfectly adequately. And I can show you that this is actually being boomed. It's just here. And the only thing with this now is that what's happening is because the microphone is above my head, the rear wall behind me is now in line of shot of the microphone, and depending on that front pickup, it's really, hit and miss. How much of this back wall is it actually going to pick up? So this is the sound of it boomed above my head. So this is a dynamic microphone being boomed. People say you can't do that kind of thing, or you shouldn't do that kind of thing. I've done it a few times actually, and people have never noticed in my YouTube videos that I'm using a dynamic microphone. Again, because the gain has to be raised when you're using a microphone this way, you may well pick up more room reflections and reverberation, but you might also now be picking up the piano and the wife upstairs on the going on. And also, I'm just hoping you haven't got too much of the back wall being pushed back into the microphone. The rear end is now looking at the ceiling, so that can also affect how this microphone can sound, because you've got to remember that all microphones are a combination of the microphone, the capsule and how it works, but also the room that it's working in. So this is the sound of it boom. Now if you don't believe me, I'm going to pull it down just to show you. And there you are. It's a boom microphone. For this shot, I'm using the SE8 out of shot. It's just basically placed below my body here, below the screen. So it's a little bit further away, gain has been raised. And again, you now might be picking up a little bit more of the room and maybe a little bit more from upstairs. But you're going to get, this is a trade-off. If you don't want the microphone in shot, then you have to turn up the gain. And by turning up the gain, you're inviting more reverb and more interference from external sources. But this is a condenser being boomed underneath my body. So my body is acting like a shield on the back, and hopefully it's rejecting the rest of the room as well. Now the SE8 is being boomed above my head. It's just here, and because this is a cardioid, it might well be picking up more on the front end. If that's the case, it might also then be picking up a little bit from this back wall, which will affect its sound. Having said that, it's probably better on the back, so there's less coming in the back end than say with a supercardioid, but it swings and roundabouts. Now I've got a van going past outside. I've got the wife upstairs on the piano talking to a kid on the internet, and hopefully it's still rejecting that. Although, again, as I say, getting these microphones further away is a trade-off, because you're going to have to up that gain, and once you start upping the gain, then of course you're going to bring in other sounds that are going on around you. Now I'm in a terrible room. This is the kitchen. There's lots of reverb going on, and actually sound of the piano is coming through the ceiling from upstairs. And you can probably hear, even close up, that I'm in a very, very reverberant room. So in this kind of situation, you really do want to get the microphone closer. Actually, also, not only get the microphone closer, but it can help if you get the microphone close and talk lower, so there's less reverberation. So, for instance, if I talk like this would sound hopefully a little clearer and maybe not so much reverb, although there is a piano going on now at the moment. I just don't know if you heard, there we go, it's going now. So there is a piano coming through the ceiling. So this is the sound of this microphone really close up in a very reverberant situation. Hold it a bit further away and that's what you're going to get. Now if you want to get it out of shot, then this is what I would do. Okay, now I'm talking into the microphone at a distance of I would say about a foot away. It's about a foot. Hopefully my body is shielding the back. This is what I'm talking about, where I'm talking about shielding, the way you can use your body to shield things. But because of the gain being raised, you're possibly going to hear the piano a bit more and other things going on in this room with the reverberation, which isn't the best really. And the further away you get that microphone, the more effect you're going to get from the walls. This microphone, by the way, I'm using is connected, as I said, with a mic booster lead. These leads are terrific because you can use dynamic microphones on the move. Makes it dead easy to use, and it's really well worth it. The only thing I wonder about is the length of the lead that it comes as stock. It's about 1.5 meters, 1.5. Sometimes I could do with a bit more, but you can easily attach an extension lead to it when you're out and about and get further away as well. But it's a very easy way to work, and as you can see, I'm just using a dynamic microphone, and that's how it sounds, straight into the camera. Now this is the worst room in the house for sound. This is the bathroom, and in here we've got reverberations all over the place. There's a shower over there, there's walls here, radiators. Everything is hard tiled floor, really bare surfaces. So this is the worst scenario. So in this case, it would really pay to do something like this. Hold a dynamic microphone really close. Once you get the microphone away, then you start getting problems. So here we go. Now, I've got the microphone out of shot. The back is being shielded, hopefully by me, so there's not too much coming from the rear. But you may be hearing just that little bit more reverberation going on. At least we haven't got so much piano sound going on in here, but the reverberation is actually quite huge in here. Now, just to show the effect of boomed and whether having the microphone head, it's got a mirror behind me here. If I put this up above me, get it out of the way and boom it down. Right, okay, there. Now I've got the microphone boomed above me in a reverberant situation. There's a reflective surface right behind me. Whether the microphone is picking that up or not, I don't know. So just to compare, this is the sound of the microphone boomed above me. And if I now quickly bring it down here, boomed below me, that's what happens to the sound. And maybe there's a difference with my body shielding the rear. And I'm going to go back up again. So this is with the microphone below. Now I'm going to move it above. And now it's boomed above me. So it does pay to experiment. And by the way, very often when I'm using microphones, I look around and look for reflective surfaces and make sure that the deaf parts of the microphone, to put it back again, and what I do is I make sure that the deaf parts of the microphone are looking at the reflective surfaces, and that really does improve your audio. So you must take into account that microphones work in conjunction with the room that you're in or your surroundings. They really do. So in those examples, I was trying to show a dynamic microphone because it rejects a little bit better than a condenser probably does. But also I compared the two as well. And the funny thing is, What really surprised me was the fact that the dynamic went quite harsh sounding when it was boomed above me. Maybe some more front sounds was coming from the rear wall and mixing with the sounds from the ceiling in the back of the microphone, because a supercardioid microphone has more pickup on the back end in the bass. And for some reason, the two were merging together with the direct sound to cause a sort of a harshness in its sound. I actually looked at the file on my program, my audio program, and could see that there was something different going on with that particular take. The others, well, what I would do personally, the best place for any microphone is to look around you, look at the reflective surfaces and make sure that the dead areas of your microphone are pointing at the reflective surfaces. So you have to know where the dead areas of your microphone are, where they are, absolutely are, so that you can point those areas at anything that might cause an interference thing like I had with the supercardioid above me. The dynamic was particularly harsh to my ears anyway. So mic placement isn't just putting the mic in front of you and getting it close, but it can also be look at your surroundings and try and get away from reflections as much as possible. And that's the most important thing. Hope this was useful to you, and hope you found it interesting. Cheers for now. Hope to see you next time. Bye.